Hey you, it's Jess here. We're planning for the week of last week. It ended on September 11, and we're listening to the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power soundtrack. I just listened to sort of the beginning of it because I didn't want to spoil any future music, but I am loving it. And we are using this Oddloop Lord of the Rings art with some Scribble Prints Co functionals that she made to match, just for me and her. To go out. She made hers for a work planner, but I asked for some extra labels to make it work in my main planner, and I'm using some Sticky Essentials quotes, and I think I've seen that she is closed right now, so I apologize for that, but she had some great Lord of the Rings stickers. I'm also bringing in some SPC and Sadie stickers foil, and I think the Giving Girl as well. And I'm going to bring in some cute little SPC gemstone foil as well later to decorate the top. But I'm just bringing in this this glittery sparkly Sadie stickers to go up the top because I didn't really want to put any foil over the full boxes or the bottom washi because they kind of complete the way they are. Here's me just getting all my stickers in order because we are going to color block, and I will get some silver bougie out soon as well because I forgot to get that out. But yeah, so this was my first time trying to use just some Oddloop full boxes as well as Andrea's functional stuff that she makes for her work planner in my main planner. I have used the boxes before, but I used Scribble Prints Co multicolor, and I made it work with my Animal Crossing spread last year. So you can pretty much do the same thing if you have a bunch of multicolor. You can put that together like I have here with Oddloop's art. If you're very specific about your functionals like I am. I guess the only difference is you don't have any patterned boxes, which I do miss because I do like to use the pattern boxes the most, but I think it works out in the end and it turns out really cute, and I'm glad I got to use this Lord of the Rings art. I feel like this is there's not a lot of other Lord of the Rings art out there, so I'm glad to have used it and got all the full boxes in. This is sort of like one of her destinations postcards sets, and one of theirs, because it's two people. But yeah, so I loved it. It's so cool and I love the artwork. And we're just continuing on with the Rings of Power Lord of the Rings hype train. The third episode was this week and it was so good. I'm so excited for the next episode. They teased a thing right at the end where it's like, oh, come on. Why? Show it to me now. So I'm super excited for that. And we also watched The Two Towers this weekend. And then the next weekend we're going to watch Return of the King. All extended, of course, just to continue on with the Lord of the Rings fun. And Audrey actually put this plain box in her functional stuff, and it was perfect for a quote box, and also because I used 10 boxes altogether, and there's only 9 in this kit from Oddloop, so that turned out perfect. And I put in my favorite quote: "There is some good left in this world and it's worth fighting for," which is obviously said by Sam, and it's actually said in The Two Towers, so it worked perfectly for this week. But I love Sam's whole speech, and it always makes me teary-eyed, and it's still very much relevant, I think. So here you can see I put in a bunch of those gemstone foils from SPC. They turned out so cute, just across the top to add a little more extra to the top there. But we're into the daily, but I actually promised in my pre-plan with me that I would talk about this fridge organization that I did on Monday here, so I might as well go through it. But we got groceries in on Monday, and I saw this post. It was like a graphic of how to reorganize your fridge as someone who's neurodivergent. And they didn't have, you can be neurotypical and do this, but basically produce always just rots away in my veggie drawers. I never get anything eaten. It's terrible. Like, as soon as it goes in the drawer, it's dead to me. So the graphic was basically like, so you start off on the top shelf, you change, I think we all pretty much just put our sauces and condiments up there, right? But instead, in the new organization that I did, the top shelf is prepared food, leftovers. I also put up some like sour creams, things like eggs, things that are going to go off. So I put those at the top. Then the second shelf, I put all my produce. So I have all my my carrots and my capsicums and cucumbers and everything's there on the second shelf. And I think it might be easier if I get some clear bins to put in there, so they're still kind of in a drawer, but also it kind of works having them just out. And I put oldest to the front, and then newer fruit and vegetables in the back, and then so you do as many shelves of that as you can, and then the very bottom shelf is like meats and cheeses, and then in the vegetable crisper drawers, you put all your sauces and condiments, and it's genius. It's so good, and like every time, and it makes it easier to see the sauces too, because you just open the drawer and you can sort of rifle through them looking down at them, and it makes it so much easier to figure out your sauces, but also see all your produce. And then instead in the doorway where you have your drinks and stuff, you also put your snacks. So I put all my yogurts and stuff in the doorway, and it works. I can open the fridge and I can see right away, oh, a vegetable, oh, a snack. And oh, a leftovers needs to be used, and it's working perfectly for me. So I'm loving it. The graphic was of a 2-door fridge, and we just have a freezer section at the bottom, so we can't really separate that out. But I do one of the things, which is have the ice at the very bottom, because ice doesn't need to be at the top or anything. So the fridge organization is working great for me. We've got an almost empty fridge now because we've actually been using up all our stuff. And then on the top of that, I have a magnetic notepad that I got from Amazon on the front of the fridge. And when we get our groceries in, if anything's got, especially meat, I put that has a use by date. I put the meat and I put the date on the notepad. So when we're like cooking dinners, we can be like, okay, this is going off first, so we'll take that out, and then I just cross it off when we use it. So we're getting through our meats and our vegetables now, which is great. So I'll keep you updated on that organization, but it's working so well for me right now. I love it. But now we're going to get into the day by day. On Monday, we just had our usual stuff. I did some filming, I did some drawing. I was working on the new release, which comes out tomorrow. If you're watching this when this video comes out, it is my Seasons Creepings Spooky Christmas set. I've never done a spooky Christmas, and it's got a lot of Nightmare Before Christmas touches, but also some Scream and just general spookiness. So if you want a more alternative Christmas set, hopefully that will be available from shops. But I was pretty happy with it. I think it turned out really cute, and I try to do more pastel-y colors. So that's what I was finishing up this week. And then we have groceries delivery, and I finally used that butter sticker from Paper Milk. Yes! And then we got cupcakes from Blondie's at night because we did really well. We cooked lunch and dinner, so we're like, screw it, we're going to get delivery cupcakes. And then I was reading my book, The Great Hunt. I'm still reading it. I have 9 hours left. It's apparently it's like the slowest, worst book in the Wheel of Time, and the fact that it's the second book is really a struggle. So I'm trying to get through it. So I think this week I should be able to finish it just by listening while I draw. And then on Tuesday, I just put in payday, draw again. The draw script is from Ice Cream Joe. And then I put in reading time because I do like to read while I draw. And then I got it all done that day. So then I did listings. I think that's what that computer is for. And I scrumpled up all these stickers for ER. So I'm just fixing those up. I also want to make room for this cleaning bottle as well. I just cleaned all the stuff because I cleaned a bunch of stuff this day as well. And then what do we got at the bottom here? I don't even remember what I just planned. It is listings. So yeah, I got that set all done for this coming week. And then I kind of fell off the wagon of working. I was going to try and do the third Christmas set. And I did one person for it. I edited a bunch of videos. I did one person for it, and then Disney's Dreamlight Valley game came out on early access. So it is early access. I'm just warning you. It has bugs. It has crashes. Save often. But there's a big update coming, but it's not technically a finished game. You're kind of testing it, quality testing it yourself. But yeah, that came out, and I just played it all week and all weekend long. Just played it tons, and I've still got tons of stuff to do. I played it nonstop all week, and I don't have all the characters are unlocked yet, and they're going to add more, and I haven't got all the biomes unlocked yet. And they're adding more realms and all the sorts of stuff. And, you have to do all these quests, and you have to level up your friendship, and, also all the cooking and all the furniture building and decorating. There's so much to do. So I still have plenty of this game to play. And they're updating it through autumn. So that'll be great. But that kind of takes over the drawing for the rest of the week. But it was good just to relax again because, I kind of do the drawing in bursts. I've always worked in bursts, and then I need relaxed time. And Wednesday, I had a plan with me go up, did that final bit of drawing. We got Yeasty Boy bagels and watched some more ER. We're in season 10 now. I believe they said season 9 is the worst one. So we got through it. I'm on season 10, and it's going okay. It's going alright. I think it picked up a little bit more, for sure. It's interesting so far. But I'm still enjoying ER, and it's been good. Yeah. It's just a good show to have on. Even though we're watching it for the first time, I don't feel like I have to 100% pay attention to the whole episodes. So I can still go on my phone and be on the computer and stuff while watching. So it's a good casual watch. But anyway, out comes this Disney stickers as we mark Dreamlight Valley, and it isn't vacuuming, we had McDonald's. But yeah, so I tried to use ones I would love Disney characters that went with the game. So I put it in the little Gus from Cinderella because some of the founders items that I decided just to get the full game and buy the full $70 pack with all the extra items, because why not? Why not? I'm living life to the max. But it came with Cinderella kind of items, although there's not Cinderella in the game yet. I assume they're going to add it one day. So I decided to use little Gus for that. And now we're putting in our Giving Girl sparkles. I really love these designs. And I thought they went really well with the sort of Lord of the Rings feels. So we're just going to put those around, and that's going to kind of oomph up the lack of patterns in the boxes. But I will say having these little sheets, it made it pretty easy to color block, to be honest. So come on, Jess. Is that not enough sparkles for you, Jess? My gosh. Look at those sparkles go. So what else should I say for this first half of the week? Yeah, I don't know. Pretty standard, but you can see there's gemstones up the top, and I think it looks really pretty. Oh, I gotta do a yawn. Anyway, It's first thing Monday morning right now. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get my voiceover done now. Because Lark's not home. They're at work. And I could just blabber on without a care in the world. And you just have to be on the receiving end of that. Alright, so I kind of love how the Green Day has the really green box of Rohan. It just turned out so cute. Couldn't color block all the rest of the boxes, but Rohan worked out really well. I kind of wish it was more of the green though. I don't know. I suppose it's not that big a color in the set itself, so I understand. So I just put in my new release of my holiday prep art, and I just used a little Christmas sticker from SBC because I like to have the icon match. And then I put Maui for Dreamlight Valley because I did unlock Maui and Moana this day. They are in the game already. And it's hilarious. He just dances all over the island. And then you go and talk to him and he's like, oh, I'm so glad. Aren't you happy to talk to me? And I'm like, all right, Maui. He's like, I'm so awesome. I'm like, okay, Maui. And then I put in Starbucks because PSL officially came out in Finland this day. So I got my first pumpkin spice latte of the season. I saw them post on their Instagram. I'm like, oh my god, I have to go order this coffee, even though I already had coffee that day. But yeah, so I got my first PSL of the season, and it was so good. This year they actually added the pumpkin foam cold brew, which I heard people really like in the States. We didn't have it last year, so we have the cold brew with pumpkin foam this year, which is awesome. And we have pumpkin spice latte and then pumpkin spice frap. But no iced pumpkin spice latte, which is weird. I guess because they're doing the cold brew. But I kind of actually prefer pumpkin spice in a hot coffee, which I know. I never drink hot coffee ever, but pumpkin spice just works better hot for me. So I'm fine with that. And so I just got a hot one. That's all the seasonal flavors we have. I apologize. I know a lot of people recommend me a lot of the flavors every year because I would love to try the apple cider ones, but we don't get it. Maybe next year, since they added on the cold brew, I don't know. It would be nice. I'd like a little bit more flavors, but oh well, we got what we got. I don't even have Starbucks in my hometown in Australia, so I'm lucky. I'm lucky in that regard. I don't really drink it that much, as you know, but pumpkin spice, I just think it's superior from Starbucks. Although our donuts place and the other espresso house also do pumpkin spice now. But gingerbread I happily make at home, but pumpkin spice just hits better from Starbucks. And then, as you saw on Thursday night, I put in Rest in Peace Queen Elizabeth II. So I'm not going to say I don't have feelings either that way or either way. You know, I feel like everyone has valid feelings and we're all allowed to share how we feel. I mean, it's a big public icon who did a lot in history, good and bad. So I think however you're feeling is valid. We saw stuff was happening and it sounded pretty serious, unlike other times. So we had the BBC live stream on, watching the Gates of Balmoral. And then we saw it pop up at the bottom as she passed away, and I felt kind of a shock and almost cried. It was kind of weird. Like I felt it bubbling inside. I'm like, this is so weird, because I'm not a royalist, but I did grow up in the Commonwealth in Australia. She was the Queen of Australia, if you didn't know. I did see a map going around saying like, look at all these countries who became independent from the UK, and it included Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, who none of them are independent. We're all still part of the Commonwealth. We still have the Queen, or now the King, as our monarch. So that was a weird map. But yeah, I grew up with the Queen all on our money, on our stamps. We had the Queen's birthday holiday every year. You know, I grew up and I learned about her, and then obviously my history field of research was British history, so I've done plenty of like history on monarchs and stuff, and I enjoy the history of British monarchy. So it was a lot. Like, you know, she was the queen for the whole of my parents' lives, let alone my life. So I think that was the kind of shock, like, oh my gosh, she actually died. Because I remember as a kid, we joked about, you know, how the Queen Mum, which was Elizabeth's mother, she lived to 100 and something, 100. And even as a kid, we joked about, like, is she going to pass away? You know, as kids do. So I remember that. So it was always like, and then I remember what happened when Diana died as well. I know the exact thing that happened. We were helping a family friend, were cleaning their house for them to move. And then the music stopped and they said, oh, and Diana's been in an accident. She probably broke a nail. And then a few minutes later, they're like, oh, they came back and they're like, oh, she died. And I'm like, that person, I always just remember that because that radio presenter's never going to live that down, are they? Oh my gosh. So now I remember where I was when the Queen died, watching BBC eating gelato on a Thursday night. It's crazy. But I just put it in there with the black heart from Clever Girl Craft. I don't know. Not because I'm sad or upset. I don't know, but it's just a thing. One of those things you put in your planner, you know. I'm otherwise apathetic, but I very much understand people being happy, people being sad. I think it's all valid, it's all open. And yeah, it's crazy weeks, crazy times, an end of an era. You know, she was the queen for like 70 years. So, and it was a lot, especially as someone who grew up with that whole thing, like as part of their daily life. So it'll be interesting times to come. Then I guess the rest of my plan is like pretty usual. We wanted a little lunch on Friday, so we got Cut, which we almost never do, but they have amazing chicken burgers, but they only have burgers. They have drinks, burgers, and wings, but like no chips, no fries. Come on. So when we just went a little lunch, we treated ourselves to one of their chicken burgers, which was really tasty. Just watching YouTube, playing Dreamlight Valley. Mother Gothel I just unlocked, so I put her in there as well. We got macaroni and cheese from Holy Moly for that lunch, and then watched Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, so I had to put Sam in, obviously, because he's a big character for that. And then, of course, I also put in Rings of Power, but I'm waiting for my script in my next Happy Mail box to put in Rings of Power because I don't want to write it every week. So I have scripts coming, but I thought this Aragorn sticker actually worked really well. This episode we got to see Elendil, who is an ancestor of Aragorn, so is that a spoiler? Not really. But it kind of looks like him, except Elendil like wears blue. But anyway. And then I used a little Sven for Dreamlight that day because I got Kristoff. I love Kristoff. Oh my god, the weirdest thing. So I unlocked the forest biome, which unlocks Kristoff. And I was listening to Disney music on my Disney World playlist while I played because I wanted to listen to like full songs instead of what they have in the game because I got kind of tired of it. And I was listening literally to Lost in the Woods from Frozen 2. And then it popped up when I opened the biome that it said, Kristoff's lost in the woods. And I had to go find him in the woods while I was listening to the song, Lost in the Woods. What the heck? It's hilarious. I just thought that worked so well. Like, well done, universe. Then Sunday we had our usual lunch of Taco Bell. We'd just been doing that a few Sundays, and it's just nice to have a crunch wrap. And their chips or fries are literally just like KFC fries are in Australia, and it's just so good. I miss KFC. And then I put in Anna for Dreamlight Valley because I unlocked her this day. Because you got Kristoff automatically, but Anna and Elsa, like, you have to do a whole thing to get them. And then we watched some more ER. We cleaned all the stuff. I put in cooked dinner here. We made spaghetti bolognese. But we've been cooking dinner for most nights, which is why you don't really see much of that. But I just wanted to mark it this night because I didn't have much else to mark, to be honest. And then I put up late with a munchkin on their phone, but I was actually on my Switch playing Dreamlight until like 2 a.m. Oops. Hey, but I'm having fun. And then a new quest unlocks and I gotta do it. So, yeah, but that was a full week. A really weird week. It just kind of went, whoa, on Thursday. And, me playing a new game. But I did get a set done, so I got some work done. So I'm happy with that. We got a bunch of cleaning done. Organized my fridge. So that was a week. Great episode of Rings of Power. Still loving it. Still excited. And been loving the rewatch of Lord of the Rings as well. Because you can never have enough talking in your life. I'm terrible. I just really enjoy it. And I'm glad they made a few changes. They made it more inclusive. And I am happy for that. And the black elf, as everyone's complaining about, Arondir, or his real name is Ismail, his first name, but he is so hot. I think he's Afro-Latino, but he is super hot. Like Legolas, who? It's all about Arondir now. I'm like, it's worth. I'm all for diversity if it's gonna be that hot. Also, because everyone should be able to see themselves reflected in fantasy and sci-fi and just TV in general, which is great. So I'm happy. I know there's a big black backlash online, but don't listen to it. The show is great, and I don't think it changes anything to have diverse casts. And there's, a lot of people and a lot of women, and I love it. But that is everything for this spread. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. I love you. Bye. Bye 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 bye.